A nice Van Gogh Jack and Coke. I'll show you how to make one of these in one of my other videos. Real simple. Welcome back to Smoked Meat with Jeff. Today we're going to do a dish that is not even close to what you would consider to be heart healthy. We are going to make a smoked pork belly. As you can see, I have pork belly right here. It's basically the same cut of meat that bacon is cured from, so we know it's going to be absolutely amazing. So let's get into some of the real basic ingredients that you're going to need, starting with, let's start with the non-food ingredients, because you're going to need some specialized tools for this today. You're of course going to need a sharp knife, a very pointy sharp knife, a little brush, and you are going to need, in addition to a smoker, you're going to need a charcoal barbecue or a gas grill to do the finish stage of this, because we're going to crispen up the skin on the outside of our pork belly today. So now that we got that covered, let's take a look at the food ingredients, and I'll show you how I make. I'll actually give you the ingredients for the rub that we're going to use today to really bring out the flavor of our pork belly. Smoked pork belly. Obviously, you're going to need to get a hold of some pork belly, and you can pick this up at any reputable small town butcher. I went over to, we have a local Mexican market, and had this cut today, and it is literally pork belly with the skin on. You can see I've got the, this is the skin side, and then we have the meat side. And if you take a look at the cross cut of this, you can see that this is the same cut of meat that is used to make bacon. And we're actually going to slice this up to make it a little more manageable. But you want to make sure you get it with the skin on. Alright, and for our spices, we are going to be using, and let me give you the measurements while I'm reading these off. We are going to be using some kosher salt. You're going to need 3 tablespoons. You're going to need some sugar. I'm using pure cane sugar, and you're going to need 6 tablespoons of that. And then some allspice or just some general seasoned salt. I'm just using Lawry's seasoned salt. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of that. And of course, some black pepper, 1.5 tablespoons. And all you got to do is take all of those into the individual proportions, throw them into some sort of container, and mix it up. And you have your seasoning mix. If you're not going to be doing a whole pork belly or just small, or you're going to be obviously doing a smaller batch of it, just cut down on the measurements, cut everything in half. And then we are going to do a little bit of cure on this, because this is technically a 2-day recipe, and for that we're going to need some just some white vinegar and some more of our kosher salt. So let's get started on putting this together. Oh, non-food ingredients, because this is an overnight deal, it works well to have a like a cookie pan, and then take one of your Bradley racks and put it on here upside down, because this is where we're going to put our pork belly while it's curing overnight. So let's get on to getting this prepped for day 1 to sit overnight, and then we'll fire up the smoker tomorrow and get our crispy smoked pork belly on the smoker. Alright, regardless of whether you're working with a small piece of pork belly or an entire pork belly like this, I find it easier to do a stage where we have to pierce the skin before we start slicing this thing up into more manageable pieces. That way you're not having all these little pieces and going, did I already pierce this one? Did I already pierce that one? So for that, all you're going to need is a sharp pointy knife, and you're just going to go all Freddy Krueger on this thing and just basically puncture the skin all over the place. You don't need to go all the way through the meat. You're just puncturing the skin so that the cure has an opportunity to get under the skin and really do its job overnight. And this could take a little while. So grab your Van Gogh Jack and Coke and enjoy a little bit of stress relief. Whew! All right, Jason Jason would be proud because I went to town on this and really got a bunch of holes in the skin all over the place. Now on the other side, we are going to take your large sharp knife, and we're going to take this and we're just going to kind of go put little slits into this meat about every ½ an inch apart, about a finger depth, but you don't want to go all the way through the fat layer on the other side. We're just going to put one-way grooves in this thing so that we can get our rub down into the meat. So it's just a matter of having a nice sharp knife, going through, cutting grooves into the meat, and depending on the butcher and where you get your pork belly from, you could have really thick pieces of meat in there, or like mine. Mine's actually not very thick. I would like to have had it thicker, but that just wasn't in the cards today. So we're going to go through and we're going to cut grooves in it like this through the entire thing, and then we're going to season this. Okay, we have our pork belly all sliced up and pierced, and now it's just a matter of throwing on some seasoning, work it into all the crevices, and then we're going to cut it into smaller pieces that are more manageable, which is entirely up to you. If you have a smoker or a barbecue that's big enough to accommodate the whole thing, smoke it in one chunk, or cut it up. That's entirely up to you. So just take your mix, spread it over, and you can put it on as liberally or sparsely as you want, and then work it in. You want to make sure you get it into all these crevices, everywhere. Now remember, this is not heart healthy because this has got a lot of fat on it, just like bacon would. So really get those flavors down in there to really complement the bacon-like flavor that's going to come out of this thing. You can even spread apart some of these slits and get your seasoning down there inside. Now that I have the pork belly cut into manageable pieces, everything from something like this size all the way up to, I left one as a strip, we are going to apply our cure. But before you apply the cure, grab a towel that of course you'll throw into the wash straight after you do this, and just clean off all the extra spices on the skin side, because you want it skin side up for us to apply this cure. And all you're going to do is you're going to take your vinegar, your brush, and just kind of brush it over the top. It really doesn't take a lot of vinegar to make this happen, but you want to make sure that your pork belly is on a rack up out of the tray so that it's not sitting in the vinegar, because we're just using the vinegar and our salt to cure the skin side of our pork belly. So once you get a little bit of vinegar on there, just take some of your salt and just kind of spread it over the top. You don't have to go nuts on this. This will soak in overnight as it cures, and you want it to cure for overnight or minimum 8 hours. I'm going to do it overnight in the fridge, and then tomorrow we will fire up the smoker and get this thing cooking. So I'm going to finish this up, get it into the refrigerator, and then I will see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll have something else to drink tomorrow, and we'll get cooking. Well, we're back for day 2, cooking day. The pork belly has been in the refrigerator overnight, and you'll notice that most of the salt will have kind of dissolved and gone down into the pork skin itself. So now all we're going to do is we're going to apply another layer of vinegar, a little bit more salt, and then we're going to throw this right onto the smoker that I have going in the background here. You're going to run your smoker a little hotter than usual. Typically I'll run my smoker at around 250 degrees, but today I'm going to run it at between 275 and closer to 300 degrees, and these are going to take about 2.5 or anywhere between 2 and 3 hours to cook, where the internal temperature is going to come up to around 155 degrees finished temperature is around 160 to 165, but we're going to save that last little bit to pull this off and put it onto the barbecue skin side down to really crispen that up. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the last application of cure. Put on some vinegar and salt, and then onto the smoker. Okay, so we've been on the smoker for about 2 hours at this point, probably about another half hour to go, and it's coming along really nicely. Let's take a look at this. So we got the underside of the meat is cooking up nicely, and then we've got the top side here with the fat on it. You can see the nice little layer of fat. I'm not going to hold that so it falls off. But the top side, it's really starting to soften up a little bit. Ooh, that's hot. Well, the fat is really starting to render down into the lower meat. So I'm going to throw this back on for about another half hour or so until we hit the internal temperature mark of around 150 degrees. And then we're going to pull it off and throw it straight onto the barbecue, skin side down, to really crisp up the skin. Okay, we are at about, I think I went 2 hours and 45 minutes with this, and we are ready to transfer our pork bellies over to the barbecue. See, the bottom side's nicely done, the top side is done as well, but we're going to crisp this up so we get a crispy top on this. When you do this on your barbecue, and we'll do that next, you want to make sure that the grates underneath your barbecue and your catch tray is really clean, because we're going to be cooking basically straight bacon fat at this point, and with it dripping down inside of your pan on the bottom, it's going to be really prone to flare-ups, and you don't want to burn this, you want to crisp it. So I'm going to finish getting all of this off of the smoker, go fire up the barbecue, and you can do it, like I said earlier, with either a charcoal barbecue or a gas barbecue. I have gas, I don't have a charcoal barbecue, but with being on the smoker for as long as it was, we've got this really good smoke flavor already built into the pork belly. So I'm not too worried about cooking over charcoal, which I would do preferably, but like I said, I have a gas barbecue. So I'm going to finish this up, and let's head over to the barbecue. Okay, let's add some crispiness to our pork belly. So as you can see here, I've got, this is the skin side. We are going to put it with the skin side down over direct high heat. And we are going to allow this to crisp up before we yank it off to start slicing and dicing. And then enjoy ourselves some smoked pork belly. And we got our long piece right here. So this should take maybe 10-15 minutes or so once you get your barbecue up to temperature, to just really get that that skin side of this pork belly nice and crispy. And remember, keep an eye for flare-ups, because this is a nice layer of fat that we're cooking. And if you end up with drippings going through into your barbecue, the chances of a flare-up is extremely high. So I will be cooking this with the cover open so I can monitor. Alright, we are pretty much done here. Take a look at this. See how the back side is getting nice and crispy? Look at that. Nice and crispy. So we are going to start pulling this stuff off the barbecue now. I don't know if you can hear it crackling in there. And time to go and start slicing this up. And there you have it. the finished smoked pork belly. Let's take a look at what we got here. So we got a piece here. See, nice and crispy on the outside. So let's go ahead and slice one of these up and see where we're at. Oh, that's looking good. Oh, that's looking amazing. Nice layer of fat in there. Nice little layer of meat. Crispy. And succulent. So let's go ahead and dig into a piece here. See if I can do this without burning myself. Mmm. Oh, the textures. You got the crispiness with the saltiness of the cure. Oh, that's amazing. All right, so this is Jeff with Smoked Meat with Jeff. Enjoy your barbecue and your smoker. Make yourself some pork, smoked pork belly. This is awesome.